My name's Steve. I'm one of the volunteer instructors on the Safe Work at Heights program. Today we're going to have a very quick look at how to build the system. This is going to be a little bit of a refresh for everyone, but also for those that haven't been part of the training before to actually see what it is involved in. For those who haven't completed the CFA Safe Work at Heights program but might have done height safety through their work or other form of industrial height safety, you'll actually see throughout this video that the systems that we use are slightly different to what we would typically see within a workplace heights context. First, let's take a look at how to prepare and throw the throw line. Start by forming a loop in the string and passing it through the ring. We've now got the throw line ready to throw. You'll have one person holding the reel aiming in the direction you're going to throw. Legs shoulder width apart thereabouts, swinging the weight between your legs 1 or 2 times and then a nice heave over the top of the house. To remove the weight from the line, simply pull it out, have a look at what you're doing, feeding the weight back through the loop you just made. Weight comes off, no worries. There. To attach the throw line to our rope, what we're going to do is put our fingers in through the loop on the end of the string, grabbing a section of the rope and letting it drop through. Feed the line over top of the rope, pulling tight. We aim to have that about 30 centimeters from the end of the rope. What we're going to do now to get this rope ready for lifting over the rooftop is just a couple of little half hitches, so no different to what we do with our drafting hose, just onto the rope here. We want those to be relatively close together. With the last one just before the end of the rope. Now that line's ready to be pulled over the house. We're going to be using the back of the FCV as one of our anchor points here. So with our main line hauled across the rooftop, what we want to make sure of is that we've got at least 3 meters of our main line past our anchor point. So standing here and ensuring that it's pulled a good couple of sections of rope, ensuring we have at least 3 meters here. With our main line pulled across the building, it's time to tie our first alpine butterfly. Now I'm going to show some methods of these knots. If you already have a method that you've got down pat, keep on using your same method. Start by making 3 loops of the rope over your hand. The third loop you want to land in the middle of your first 2. Grab the loop now closest to your fingers and giving it a bit of a pull. You'll now push this loop towards your wrist, sliding it back under the other 2 loops. At this stage, I'm going to be holding onto that loop that I've just pushed through, pulling my hand out from the rope and pulling everything snug tight. To dress the alpine butterfly, we need to pull on the 2 legs. I'm now going to tie the same alpine butterfly in our working line. With each of these knots, we make sure that we have our triple check conducted. So I tie the knot, I look away, distract myself with something else, I'll look back at it again, make sure that I'm happy with it. I then go and get another qualified Safe Work at Heights operator to come back and check that knot for me. Connect the 2 alpine butterflies using a mullion. We need to ensure that we secure this mullion up with a nice little snug twist with the spanner. This part of the system needs to get a complete archer check before it's pulled up onto the rooftop. So we're using the rear axle as our anchor point on this FCV here. I've made sure the vehicle is locked, all doors and windows are up, transmission was in park and handbrake was on. We're ready to rig our first anchor point. So we're using the industrial descender here. I'm going to be opening the faceplate of the descender up. You'll see in here we've got a loop icon. So our rope is going to come in to that loop side. So picture we've got a loop tied at the roof of the house and so they're coming in, following that there. You'll move the cam around a little bit, which is easiest done with the handle, opening up the space there for the rope to go back out of, and now we're going to close up the descender. Once again, we're going to have everything triple checked that we've done. At the end of our main line and our anchor point, what we want to make sure of is that we've secured the end of our tails by popping a stopper knot. So there's a knot here to make sure that this rope cannot pull all the way through our descender. We do that by tying what's called the double overhand knot, or you might have also heard of it as the thumb knot. So the nickname the thumb knot comes as we actually tie it over top of our thumb. So what I'm going to do here is 2 loops across my thumb, with the second loop landing back towards my wrist. I'm now going to take the tail of the rope and poke that through where my thumb was. To show that I've got everything on my anchor point ready, what I'm going to be doing is tying a little overhand knot just straight over top of the main line here. So this is going to let everyone know that, hey, I've got this ready and it's ready for archer. The anchor point on the second side is set up the same. The main difference is on this side we now want to actually try and tension our main line. So we can do that with a little just push-pull. We're not over-tensioning, we're just trying to take some of the stretch out of that rope. We tie stopper knots in the end of our working line. I've got my rope bag secured to the side of my harness here on one of the tether points, and I'm now ready to connect on to our working line. Now ready to attach to our working line using our rocker. When we open up the rocker, we'll see we've got a little person icon in there. What we want to make sure of is that our rope is coming in with him pointing up towards the top of that roof there. Closing the rocker up, I'm going to use our carabiner now to connect onto our rocker. If we're going to be stepping off the left side of the ladder, we are going to have the writing facing upwards when we put our carabiner through. We twist our carabiner around and then connecting it onto the top attachment point of your harness, making sure to secure the carabiner. Before we put any firefighters up onto the roof, we need to ensure the entire system has been archer checked. So what that means is checking our anchors, checking our rigging and our reeving, so checking the direction of ropes are going through devices. Checking our connectors, so it's a physical squeeze test on all of our carabiners and ensuring that our mullions have been done up correctly. We then move on to our harnesses, making sure that they're all centered correctly and done up tight. Next we look at our equipment. So for instance that I've got a rope bag on me, or it might be other tools and things like that that I want to have on tool lanyards to prevent me from dropping on others below. And then lastly it's about our rope. So making sure that we have sufficient rope left at our anchor points for our emergency lower and that we don't have any tangles in those ropes. Whenever we're manoeuvring our way around the roof, it's important that we do not go grabbing onto the rope above the rocker or grabbing onto the rocker itself, as we will defeat the safety of that device. When we're moving on the rooftop, it's important that we continue to take slack out of our rope. So I've got my hand on the low side or the ground side of my rocker. With each step that I take, I'm going to be punching the rope forwards towards the pitch of the roof, ensuring to take that slack out. I've now moved about 2 meters away from the edge of the roof. What I need to make sure of is that I've got a figure 8 stopper knot in my working line below me so that I don't accidentally move my way off the edge of the roof. So starting by grabbing a bight of rope, and what we want to start doing is making an 8 with that rope. Coming around and feeding this end here, or this loop, through the circle here. There's my figure 8 stopper knot. It's now time to gather up my rope and put it in my shove bag. To manoeuvre our way down the roof or down towards our ladder, what we want to do is use a nice light pinch grip on the edge of the rocker here. We're going to lightly grabbing that and twisting our hips, moving the rocker about 30 centimeters at a time, letting go of the rocker before we move our feet. Same thing again, grabbing, twisting, letting go, moving our feet.